That's the priority that this administration has. National security comes first.
Mr. Gorka, I want to ask you about something that's been in the news for the past 2 days, and that, of course, is Don Jr.'s meeting with a Russian lawyer who seemed to be offering up some sort of damaging information about Hillary Clinton. Was it a good idea for Don Jr. to meet with this Russian lawyer?
Was it a good idea for the DNC to send its operatives to the Ukrainian embassy?
I'm not sure that answers my question.
No, if there's a meeting that was wholly appropriate, but which led to nothing, let's compare that to the DNC sending its people to the Ukrainian embassy to coordinate Oppo attacks against our candidate. I mean, if you want to see collusion, it's in the DNC. It is up to their necks.
So just let me follow your line of logic. You're saying it's inappropriate for the Democrats to meet with a foreign country, Ukraine, but it's not inappropriate for your campaign, for Donald Trump, to meet with the Russians.
What do you mean the Russians? Who did this woman work for at the time? Do you know?
Well, this is the question, Mr. Gorka. I mean, this is what investigators are obviously trying to. What is the answer? What is her connection to the Kremlin?
There was no connection. She was a private lawyer who had an interest with regards to the Russian adoption program and used a pretext to get a meeting with the campaign, which the campaign representatives almost immediately realized was not done in good faith, that she had another agenda.
That's right,
and
but
the meeting ended.
What's funny, Mr. Gorka, is that they wanted the original agenda. They wanted the dirt.
Which is what political campaigns do, but we don't meet on the soil of foreign nations at their embassies to get opposition research. I mean, if you want to look at a real story, that's the story. Oh my gosh. If you want to look at a real story, the 126 leaks of national security importance in the first 125 days. I saw what you did yesterday with Kellyanne, 35 minutes on this one issue. Have you ever at CNN dedicated 35 minutes to the 126 leaks against this administration?
Well,
7 times the average of the leaks under the Obama administration, the Bush administration. Now that's a story worthy of CNN coverage.
We obviously cover lots of things along the spectrum, but I know that you do what Kellyanne, hold on, Mr. Gorka, 1 second, because you do what Kellyanne also does, which is try to deflect back to the Hillary Clinton campaign. I understand that tactic, but the question is that why then, if this was also on the up and up, did the president's son, Don Jr., not only not disclose it, but didn't actually use the right story when first asked about it? He claimed that the meeting was about adoption, but that wasn't what the real story was, and he's not alone. I mean, let me just pull up this graphic for you of the 7 people connected to the Trump campaign somehow: Michael Flynn, Jeff Sessions, Jared Kushner, Paul Manafort, Don Jr., Carter Page, J.D. Gordon. None of them adequately disclosed their meetings with Russians until the press found out about it. What's going on?
Nothing. You heard their statements. You heard Don Jr.'s statements that told you everything you need to know. He's not even a member of the administration. I mean, this is the shocking thing. Again, the amount of time you spend in desperation on a topic that has plummeted you to 13th place in viewership ranking across America. I mean, more people watch Nick at Night cartoons than CNN today.
Our ratings are doing just fine. I mean, if you want to go there, 13th, our ratings are doing just 13th. Fine. But what ratings represent is that people 11. Are interested in this. And our ratings
Nick
reflect
at Night is 11.
that
more
Americans
people
are interested in this. Look,
more people are interested in cartoons
I'm sure more
than
people
CNN.
are interested in watching House of Cards than whatever you're doing as well. However, our ratings are just fine, and the American people say that they're quite interested in what's going on with these Russian
Actually,
ties.
that's not true. If you look at the polling, most people couldn't care less. More than 65% of Americans are not interested in Russia. No, as in your bubble. In your bubble, sure. But that's the bubble. That's not the people who elected Donald J. Trump to be president.
It's actually a cross-section of Americans and polls. But listen, here's the question, which I don't think you're answering. Why didn't they adequately disclose?
There's no need for a private citizen to disclose his meeting in a campaign that happened months before.
All of those people that I just
he's not a member of the administration.
Are all connected to the Trump administration, and they did not disclose it on forms where there actually was a responsibility to disclose it.
Okay, so you have a list of 7 people. Okay. So what about individuals who got $500,000 to give speeches when their wife was running for president? Why is that not something you dedicate 35 minutes to?
Because
Bill Clinton's
you won.
got half
Your side
million.
won.
Yeah, and
you're
that's
now
why you're attacking
in the
us.
White House.
Because Hillary Clinton
that's
didn't
why
win.
the press is interested in what you're doing now. You're
have
the
to
person
get over
who's
it.
deflecting to Hillary Clinton. You're
So,
not getting
if somebody
over
doesn't
it.
win, if they commit a crime, it's irrelevant to American national security?
When somebody wins
how's
the
that logic
presidency,
work?
it's more relevant.
How does that work? How does that work? When somebody is involved in putting TSSCI special access program information onto her private homebrew server in contravention of every federal law to do with classified information, the fact that she doesn't win means it's irrelevant to CNN? I mean, that is fake news. That's when you're selectively choosing what to look at and you downgrade real crimes and don't look at them and spend 9 months looking at something where there's no evidence of anything illegal. Nothing illegal. Not in John Jr.'s meeting. None of those meetings was illegal. None of them. So why are you choosing not to look at really important things?
Continues. There's no conclusions yet from Bob Mueller. The
but you
continues.
behave like an investigator.
Well,
so why don't you investigate Hillary
Mr.
Clinton?
Gurka,
just because she lost?
I'm asking you about your candidate, Donald Trump.
And I'm responding to your lack of prioritizing in the interests of U.S. national security. That nothing inappropriate happened. There's nothing inappropriate. And that we've made the requisite statements. And in comparison to what other political candidates did, especially Hillary Clinton, it is very strange that CNN is obsessing on those who did nothing inappropriate and has nothing to say about people who are doing pay for play, who are involved in selling 20% of our uranium to Russia when their husband is getting a $500,000 speaking fee, who are in contravention of every classified information handling rule.
Is it possible, Mr. Gurka, that your team is obsessed with the Clintons?
No, we'd like you to actually do your job. And you're not in the news business anymore. You used to be. You are in the attacking President Trump business. And it's sad.
Well,
it's really sad.
It's interesting, Mr. Gurka. Look, I know that you have to go, and I didn't even want to go down this rabbit hole with you. But when you take shots at us and at journalism and at CNN, I do feel...
No, not journalism, CNN.
Okay. When you take shots at CNN, I do feel that I must respond and just point out that
That's fine.
You called us yesterday to come on here. So why do you want to come on? Why do you want to come on what you claim is a channel that isn't worthy of your answering us?
Okay, well, let me answer the question. To redress the absolute absurd Alice in Wonderland of yesterday. When I got home late at night, I watched the clip of your colleague, Chris Cuomo, with Kellyanne Conway, my colleague, the first woman to run a successful presidential candidate in U.S. history.
Yes, we know that. Yes, go on.
May I finish? May I finish? And when I saw your colleague profess that 35 minutes on something that was wholly appropriate, 35 minutes. When does CNN spend 35 minutes on anything
just to be clear,
it was our decision that we should try and redress the balance, and you were very gracious to accept it. But if you don't like the answers, that's not my problem.
No, I'm looking for answers. But just to be clear, we were trying to be time conscious yesterday. We wrapped Kellyanne many times. She wanted to get your message out, and I think that we gave her an opportunity to do that. We talked about many things
yesterday. Was marvelous.
Yeah, as we have today. Sebastian Gorka, we appreciate you wanting to come on. CNN, we appreciate having you on and talking about all of the things in the news. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Me too.
Just for the record,